If you would, just for the record, sir, we appreciate you being here, but please state your name and who you represent.
Yes, good morning. Thank you very much. I'm Dan Ron, Chancellor at UAMS. Thank you for the opportunity to come and speak with you this morning. I generally refrain, because of my role at UAMS, from speaking about specific bills and like to talk more about overall principles and guiding principles. And that's what I'd like to do this morning. You know, we're in an era of fundamental health system change. The legislative task force that you have formed is one example of that. Looking at opportunities to fundamentally reform our state's health system. The goals of that change process are to produce a system of higher value for the public. And higher value is in general defined as higher quality, better experience, and lower cost. And to achieve that, we have to have good information, as Senator Sanders said. We have to know where we're starting from and where we're trying to get to with regard to the overall issues of quality and cost. And I and we at UAMS believe that transparency with regard to quality and cost are fundamentally important principles that ought to guide our overall decision-making process. Unless we know the answers to what the key outcomes are, where we stand now with regard to quality and cost, it's hard to evaluate the impact of changes that are being implemented and to understand in the long run whether we have in fact made a difference. So in order to be able to make positive change, we have to have good information, and I believe that the Health Data Initiative that has been supported by this body and the All Claims Payer database that exists within the Arkansas Center of Health Improvement, which also is authorized by this body, provide sources of information that, with the proper governance and respect of privacy, etc., can really be used effectively for the benefit of the public and consumers, and also for policymakers.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. I'm Joe Thompson, Director of the Arkansas Center for Health Improvement. Let me share with you the onus of this for me personally. 5 years ago, when my daughter tore her anterior cruciate ligament on the soccer field, we had to select a orthopedic surgeon in a hospital where we were going to have that done. The Center for Health Statistics at the health department told me that there was a 300% difference in infection rates post-operatively, depending on which hospital we took her to. But they were unable legislatively to provide us with that information because it was locked down and it was not transparent in the healthcare system. So that was me, as then your Surgeon General and Director of a center, with a personal need that there was information that was available but not available to me to make a choice for my own child's care. Going forward, we have, as a center, committed, and our mission is to be a resource for you, the legislative body, the executive branch, and researchers and others across the state to improve the health of Arkansans. Last year, we competed for RFP that the insurance department put out to start development of an all-payer claims database. We have built that infrastructure, are building that infrastructure with 100% federal dollars. That infrastructure now has the Medicaid data in it. We have applied for, and we will receive the Medicare data. We have discussions underway with the state employees and public school employees data. And I have personally visited with each of the 4 largest commercial carriers. It is a voluntary all-payer claims database at this point in time. So we're having public data put in, Medicare and Medicaid. But to date, the carriers have not voluntarily agreed to contribute any data into the APCD. And without a complete picture, we really have difficulty in making optimally informed policy decisions or personal decisions going forward. The APCD is set up to provide consumers information about quality and cost when they seek care. And increasingly, as individuals are facing high deductible plans, that their dollars in their pocket are the ones that they're spending as opposed to insurance dollars. That's the reason and the cause for that. Senator Sanders' bill, I think, is a very positive step forward. It does several things. He mentioned the governance structure. It sets up an explicit governance structure which will oversee the security, the privacy, and the use of the data that we as ACHI are building the infrastructure for. So it is not an ACHI database that I control. It will have a governance structure that is populated by stakeholders, consumers, data suppliers, researchers, others. Second, we will not have any personally identified data. Amendments to the bill that clarify this: a carrier will generate a unique random ID that won't have anything about Joe Thompson's daughter or who she is or where she lives or anything like that, but it would contribute to people's information about which hospital had a higher infection rate or a lower infection rate for individuals in the future needing to have that clear. Finally, we have demonstrated sustainability options that include researchers getting grants that need the data to do the research and that will help pay for services over time. There are a number of other states that have this. Some states have mandatory all-payer claims database near us: Kansas, Tennessee, Utah, another conservative state that use that information for their policy-making purposes. This bill would have the Department of Insurance be the governance structure under which the database is maintained. The reasons for that is obviously the claims data directly inform rate review and other activities of the Department of Insurance, which at this point in time, they have the ability and authority to ask for, but not necessarily the technical infrastructure to support. So with that in background, I'd be glad to answer any questions on our path down this path for greater transparency.
Thanks to you both, and Senator Sanders, I'll turn it back to you.
No, I appreciate you both being here. Senator, our former representative, Alan Kerr, current insurance commissioner, is here as well. You